In the previous part, we studied hydroplaning and its three types, estimated the hydroplaning speed from the tire pressure, and understood how the tire print relates to the inflation pressure. Now we move to section 1.7, Wheels and Rims. In this section, you will study the rim construction, the flange, the spider, the well, and the offset, the three rim types DC, WDC, and WDCH, how to read the rim code, and the materials rims are made of. This section comes with 4 worked examples. First, we must separate two ideas. A wheel is a tire plus a rim, mounted and inflated, while the rim is the metal cylinder the tire is fitted onto. Steel rims, made by welding a disc into a drum, are still very common. Alongside them, lightweight alloy rims in aluminum or magnesium are increasingly popular. A rim has 2 main parts. The flange, which carries the tire and has 2 bead seats supporting it radially, and the spider, the central disc that attaches to the hub. Another important parameter is the offset, the distance between the inner plane and the centerline plane of the rim. The offset can be negative, 0, or positive. Figure 1.15 shows the rim width, the rim diameter, and the offset. Remember, the wheel radius equals the rim radius plus the tire height h sub t, and the rim diameter is measured at the bead seat. There are 3 rim types you should distinguish. First, DC, short for drop center, a deep, symmetric well with the bead seat tapered at about 5 degrees. Its advantage is easy tire mounting. Second, WDC, wide drop center, wider, with a shallower well, made for low-profile tires. This is the most common type on passenger cars today. Third, WDCH, that is a WDC with a hump. A hump is added just behind the bead seat to keep the bead from dropping into the well when the tire suddenly loses pressure. That small detail matters a great deal for safety, because it keeps the tire on the rim long enough for the driver to handle the situation. Figure 1.16 shows the cross-sections of all 3 rim types. Now let us read the rim code, again field by field just like the tire code. 7.5 is the rim width in inches. The 2 letters JJ are the flange profile code. 15 is the rim diameter in inches. 55 is the offset in millimeters. 5 is the bolt count. Finally, 114.3 is the bolt circle diameter in millimeters. So the rim 7.5, JJ 15, 55, 5-114.3 means 7.5 inches wide, flange profile JJ, 15-inch diameter, 55 millimeter offset, 5 bolts on a bolt circle of 114.3 millimeters. Common flange profile codes are B, C, D, E, F, G, J, JJ, JK, and K. They usually follow the nominal rim width, but the ordering can vary by manufacturer. The rim is mounted on the spindle axle through the hub and the bolts on the bolt circle, the PCD. The spindle transmits torque and force from the suspension and steering systems to the wheel. This is the geometric basis for the tire coordinate frames you will meet in Chapter 8. One point deserves particular attention. How the wheel is mounted on the spindle directly affects the effective offset and the scrub radius. Those 2 quantities in turn govern the steering feel and the self-aligning effort, so fitting a rim with a different offset will change the steering character of the car. Figure 1.18 shows a wheel mounted on the spindle. Example 1.35 asks which vehicles use wire spoke rims and why high-power vehicles avoid them. A wire spoke rim uses steel wires to connect the hub to the flange and is commonly seen on vintage vehicles. High-power vehicles avoid them for safety reasons. Figure 1.19 shows 2 wire spoke rim samples. Example 1.36 compares for lightweight alloy materials. Aluminum is light, conducts heat well, resists corrosion, and is easy to cast, machine, and recycle. Magnesium is about 30% lighter than aluminum, dimensionally stable and impact-resistant, but expensive and less corrosion-resistant, so it is used on luxury and race cars. Titanium is much stronger than aluminum with excellent corrosion resistance, but expensive and hard to machine. Composite, thermoplastic with fiberglass, is very light. but not yet strong or heat-resistant enough to replace metal. Two final examples for this section. Example 1.37 asks about the pros and cons of a doughnut spare tire. A vehicle always carries a spare tire already mounted on a rim, ready for a flat. Since 1980, compact spares, called doughnuts, have taken over, saving space, mass, and cost. The drawback is that they are not made for long distance or high speed. Example 1.38 looks back at the history of the wheel. Stone and wooden wheels appeared in the Middle East about 5,000 years ago, but they had poor grip, low friction, a rough ride, and poor load capacity. Solid rubber tires, and then pneumatic tube tires only came into use from the late 19th to the early 20th century. In the next part, we will classify road vehicles and summarize the chapter.